Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games Discord, as we are connecting players from all over the world to play Legacy every Wednesday and Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got Jeff here on Burn versus Dustin on Bomberman. And while we're waiting for this to kick off, if you guys want to help out the channel by hitting that subscribe button, we're going to be giving away a custom leather playmat at 2,500 subscribers. We're getting so close to that goal. Really took off earlier in the year, but we're slowing down as far as subscribers, so we want to turn that back up. Let's get to 2,500 subscribers so I can give away a beautiful custom leather playmat. Dustin's down 2 cards here, and Jeff is going to have a... I am not sure. I mean, I presume that's a fetch land. Just with art I don't recognize. Alright, so he is fetching out a basic mountain. Dustin has a Mishra's Bauble and an Ancient Den. Not the most explosive start, but if he has access to Chalice at 1, this could help out quite a bit. Oh, but Eidolon of the Great Revels, and that's actually going to hurt Bomberman quite a lot. They have so many cheap spells. This guy's going to do some serious work. Chalice at 1 comes down. Will it be enough? Now, I will say Chalice is not as good versus Burn as it one time would have been. Oh, and an additional Eidolon. Yikes. We have Riftbolt, Skewer the Critics, Price of Progress, Fire Blast. Quite a lot of cards that kind of might feel like they have a 1 casting cost, but don't actually. Particularly Riftbolt and Skewer the Critics are both spells that you're pretty much paying 1 mana for, but they're not actually like technically casting 1. We've got a Walking Ballista, which can take out one of these Eidolons now, but if he can just wait a turn, be able to power it up to 3 toughness, that'll create an interesting standstill. Oh, if only damage stacked. Suspending a Riftbolt. Oh, actually, no, just hard casting Riftbolt. Interesting. Auriok Salvagers. It's pretty beefy. And so far, Dustin been able to cast a bunch of spells outside of Eidolon range. Fire Blast taking down the Salvagers. And this Eidolon's just continuing to turn sideways. Well, we'll see if it's enough. Salvagers is a 2/4 body. Not usually super relevant, but in this matchup, it's going to actually stop Eidolon and Goblin Guide. We've got a Karn, again, outside of Eidolon range. And I'm expecting a Walking Ballista here. We'll see what he has access to. The sideboard's certainly pushed to its limits by having access to all of the cards game 1. You kind of want to have a lot of solid answers, almost a wish board. I mean, it really is a wish board if you think about it that way. It does make it difficult to justify cards that cannot be found with Karn just because of how much utility there is in that. And this other Walking Ballista coming down. We lost connection there for a second. But nothing changed for Jeff as he's unable to swing in at Dustin. He gets an untap step, making this Walking Ballista now a trump card to this Eidolon. It'll actually just be a 3-3. And Dustin kind of considering whether he wants to just go ahead and KO the Ballista, or KO the Eidolon, and he does. The Chalice at 1, preventing a lot of the worst outcomes that might be able to happen. And Karn ticking up. And I suspect we're going to see a liquid metal coating fairly soon. Suspending Riftbolt. Dustin, not quite enough mana to go with the Mycosynth Lattice plan quite yet. Playing a Monastery Mentor, hoping to draw some fire away from his face, staying outside of burn range. And Bobble's going to see a card at random here. Exquisite Firecraft. Another Bobble. Firecraft is bad news. And Dustin just dumping his hand here. That Eidolon really holding back some explosiveness. Riftbolt going to the face. And he's got the fetch land to be able to play Exquisite Firecraft. I believe that's lethal. And it is, yeah. Yeah, that is too bad there for Dustin. So close to stabilizing. I wonder if that was, that looked like it was an available line to just grab the liquid metal coating and start attacking Jeff's mana base. That Exquisite Firecraft just finishing things off at 4 mana, at 3 mana, 4 damage. A card that's really about getting past control. A lot of the time when you're running a card like Exquisite Firecraft and your opponent's got cards like Force of Will, Force of Negation, just your general counter spells, it's very difficult to figure out when to start using the counters on the burn. If someone goes first turn lava spike to your face, or chain lightning to your face, it's really not worth stopping that with a Force of Will. But if you're at 7 and they play that, now it's actually a question. Now, if they're not running Exquisite Firecraft, you don't sweat it, because you can just counter whatever it is they're going to try and use to finish off the game. But if they are running Exquisite Firecraft, those counters are not going to be of any value once you're inside that range. And the problem actually gets worse and worse depending on how many Exquisite Firecrafts they run. I've seen very often the full playset, which means even going down to 8 life could potentially just be game over if you don't have some way of either winning or getting back outside of 8 life. So things like food tokens or combos that can actually just end the game. But if you're just looking to grind out the game, and your opponent has no board presence and you've done everything to really kind of strangle the control, you've got removal for their creatures, you've got counter spells for their burn, you've stabilized, you're at 8 life, and then if they have a couple of Exquisite Firecrafts, you could still be dead because the card is so difficult to deal with. Now Jeff is seeing which cards Dustin is seeing, which is not actually quite how the cards work in real life. So that's slightly suboptimal. I don't think either player seems particularly concerned. But that is a slight difference, is you actually don't know which card your opponent gained knowledge of. Certainly if they see the top card of your deck, you don't know what that card is. We've got a Monastery Mentor off to a good start. Chain Lightning took out the first one, but we've already got a Monk and a pair of Chain Lightnings and now a Rift Bolt. And I suspect with the amount of burn that's been thrown at creatures, I expect Jeff to run out of gas here in this second game. Now, he did pick up the first one, so he kind of has a game to burn, but that's not really how you want to play it. Bomberman capable of some truly broken starts. I mean, technically capable of just winning on the first turn. And Salvagers doing some work to draw some cards and pump the Monk. We've got a Exquisite Firecraft revealed. And the 4 toughness of this Salvager's going to be a lot to grapple with. Will not be removing that card in all likelihood. A Price of Progress to do 6. That is a pretty significant change in the landscape here. Now 6 damage has already been sent toward Dustin's creatures, but he's at 11. Salvager is going to allow for a whole lot of recursion. A Chain Lightning is going to be coming off the top. If Jeff just has a bunch of 1-mana burn spells in his hand, he actually does have lethal assembled. We'll see how this racing goes. This Monk doing a lot of work. Ancient Tomb, tempting, but may not be worth tapping. Could put him inside of lethal in the very next turn. I believe he's sitting at 11 life. Though I may have missed an Ancient Tomb at some point. And 7 damage coming across. And a Swords to Plowshares. Swords to Plowshares on the Monk to gain a whole bunch of life. Going back up to nearly his starting life total. Goblin Guide. He'll turn sideways. It's actually going to draw Dustin a card. Must be nice. And a Chain Lightning as well. I think that Swords to Plowshares may have just done it for him. Dustin's going to be able to recur. Oh, he's got a Monastery Mentor ahead of time here. Recurring a Lotus Petal with 1 floating. And then recurring that. Those artifact lands coming in handy, allowing for the Metalcraft on Mox Opal, getting the extra prowess trigger out of it. And Goblin Guide can trade for a couple of monks. Oh, wow. Even with all of that, Price of Progress just reaching over and just taking the victory back for Jeff. Unreal. So Dustin made a great play there, gaining a ton of life off of his Swords to Plowshares, trying to stay outside of that burn range, with burn proving to have too much reach, thanks to just that incredibly powerful Price of Progress. That is the question, I think, when you're running burn, is how good is Price of Progress? If you think it's good in the meta, burn's a great choice. If not, there is a prowess build of burn that's available, but that is a spectacular finish to a match that looked like Dustin was well on his way to getting back. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.